Any other question? So let's start. So this is basically the second chapter. This chapter is very important, being from the historical background perspective as well, because why we are studying this management, why this course is important. So it's all about that. Yes, Salman, do you want to ask something?
No, ma'am. No.
Okay. Okay. Let me start. This is like again chapter number 2 and historical background. We will be covering all these points in this session. Scientific management, these are all the stages, or you can say approaches of management theories. All these will be covered one by one. This is just the outline. Okay. So now why is the need for the management? Why we are studying historical background? Basically in our previous session as well, because we just had one session. So the basic idea of management was just discussed in the class कि management होती क्यों है, क्यों करनी चाहिए. Everywhere we are doing management. हम अपनी personal जिंदगी में, daily life में we are managing everything, and that's also management. But we are not realizing उसको हम management का नाम नहीं देते या किताब से नहीं पढ़ते, but we are managing our lives, we are managing our daily schedules, we are managing how to go for it, how to do something, maybe how to run a household, how to drive a car. So we are all doing in that particular way. Abhi jis tarah you people are enrolled in different courses. Maybe some courses are finance, hai, economics, hai, then management, hai, then marketing. Hai. So all these are like the blend of management. Jitni abhi samne, these are like different books are shown in this picture as well: psychology, sociology, microeconomics. So these all together are part of management. That's why your degree is BBA. That's business administration degree. That's not into uh, finance degree or marketing degree. It's a basic generic degree in which you will be having all the courses. That's how we are. That's the need as well. कि जब तक लोगों को या managers को या even being the entrepreneur, you don't know how to manage a thing, how you can run that thing. Okay. Now it starts with the historical background of management, that lately how it started, what is the importance of this one, why it's being a management should be there. So basically it started with the ancient pyramids in the earliest 2580 before Christ. It was constructed. More than 100,000 people were working over there. They were working for more than 20 years for these pyramids to be constructed. So at that time there was no people, there were no management. हमारी कोई management नहीं थी लोगों को. But how they people get to know कि they need to manage the things? How they get to know कि उन्होंने they have to put bricks like this. They need to put in this position or in this layout. So there were people who were guiding them. There were people who were telling them. So everything, even that time, there was no management before Christ, but people weren't aware that things needs to be managed. Another very good example is of Great Wall of China, that was built over 2000 of years by the first emperor of China. Again, same example, same thing. At that time, people, there was no concept of management, nothing was there. But how people were doing it? It's just because they were aware that there would be a one person or maybe one boss who would be ordering them, who would be telling them, who would be guiding them. So same is the role of a manager in an organization. किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में मैनेजर का भी वही रोल है जो कंस्ट्रक्शंस में किसी एक मे बी आपका जो भी आप ऑन साइट इंजीनियर का होता है, मे बी जो भी उनका वहाँ का सुपरवाइजर होता है उसका जो रोल होता है. एट दैट टाइम मैं एग्जांपल्स इसलिए दे रही हूँ शुरू करने से पहले, बिकॉज दीज एग्जांपल्स opens our eyes that at that time when there was no concept of management even, people still were doing their work. They knew how to do it, how to do it so much perfectly by having all like by in a proper aligned way. Okay, now how it started, like we have already discussed about Egypt pyramids and Great Wall of China. Another very good example is about the Venetians. That's basically in the Venice, Italy. Italy में आजकल जितना आप लोग हो तो बल्कि आजकल ज़्यादा है because of this convent situation. So back at that time in like 1500 century, people over there, they used to have floating warship assembly line. What does that mean? If they were floating ships around the, because that's like, it's all surrounded by water, and over there people does not have like wo sara pani ke hi through they do their all the, you can say, जितना भी उनका सप्लाई चेन होती है, जितना भी चीजें मर्चेंडाइजिंग में आती हैं, जितनी भी चीजें उनकी assembled होती हैं, that's through the floating warship. At that time back as well, they were having ships होती थी, छोटी छोटी boats कह लो आप उनको, canoes कह लो, through that they uh, maintain all their things. So at that time as well, what they do, they have a very systematic and very good way of doing it. One by one, that boat, or you can say floating warship whatsoever, floats in the water, and it goes from one place to another, and it drops all those things which you are having. For example, if I am having some maybe some gross, maybe some vegetables, maybe fruits, maybe, just for the example. So one by one, like an assembly line, I will be going to one place first, then to second, then to third. And because it's in the water, that's why we have called it as a floating warship assembly lines. And Venetians, that's like people living in Venice, Italy, they were also so much organized at that time as well, that now if we talk about and see their example, that's a perfect example. Management was there, people were managing, and in such a systematic way that everything was aligned. Okay, then comes another era, that's Adam Smith. He published The Wealth of Nation in 1776. Okay, another very big name of in the management. He's also known as the, what you can say, like guru, or whatever, like the earliest philosopher, researcher, even sometimes it being called that Adam Smith is the person who actually started what's as particularly management is. So he in 1776 he published a book that's called Wealth of Nation. It's very very uh, good book. It's been like followed for many years. Still, whatever it's been like we are studying right now, it's some of like his or contributions towards this course. Okay, what was his point of view? He was of the point that people who are working in organizations, in factories, in assembly lines, they need to have division of labor. What the division of labor means, that everyone would be doing a work collectively. For example, if my work is to pick up a thing and then I have to pass to another one, just for example, if you see in a factory, for example, if they are making some garments, so if someone is sewing, somebody is putting buttons, maybe somebody is putting labels on that. So that's like all that chain is being passed. The division of labor. Everybody is doing their own work, and nobody is disturbing. Nobody is like interfering in that person's work. That's what we called as division of labor. That's being job specialization. When we are specialized in that, if my work is to pick up something and put and forward it to the other person, it makes everybody's life easy, because that's my work, and I know it very very clearly, and I will be working on that. So Adam Smith said that in organizations, people should be divided according to their job specialization. What they are good at, they should be doing that, so that it collectively will be increasing the productivity. Okay, after that, another phase, that's industrial revolutions came in. At that time, basically in after this like 1800 century industrial revolution, when this period came in, so people were of the point of view that okay, we need to substituted machine power for human labor. Like sometimes we need people, definitely we need people to operate all the machines, but how those people are going to manage that, how the labor, the human would be managing that. So there comes a point, industrial revolution, people need to be trained, people need to be guided, they need to be monitored, that how they are running it, how they are doing it. Because we can't put a blame machines ka machine kaam nahi kari. We need to train our staff, we need to train our people, so that they will be working well. Otherwise there would be a point that machines will be the substitute for humans. Sometimes right now as well, many where this because of the downsizing, because we need to cut out the human part, So machines are taking over. That's true. At that time when industrial revolution started in back 1800s century, वहां से ही शुरू हो गया हुआ था कि अगर लोग सही काम नहीं करेंगे तो definitely there would be a point. उस time पे भी they have started कि making people substitute for the machines as well. Okay, this thing was basically created for the large organizations, because when there are large organizations, definitely there's a lot of manpower, there's a lot of people. When there's a lot of people, definitely being from the employer perspective, I need to give a lot of salaries to people. मुझे बहुत से लोगों को पैसे देने हैं. I need to run a lot of things. So it makes my life difficult कि मैं किसको क्या दूं, क्या नहीं दूं. So what people exactly or actually did, they tried to show people कि अगर हम इसको properly run करेंगे in that back in that revolution period, it would be more easy or more visible for us as well to manage that. Any confusion or anything you would like to ask up till now? I would like कि class साथ साथ engage रहे ताकि monotonous ना हो जाए बिल्कुल. Any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so am I clear till now? Okay, let's proceed further. If you have any question, you can just raise a hand and we'll clear at that point. Because these chapters are very important, because these are like what you can, like the foundations of management. If you're clear about these one, that becomes very easy for you to study the further chapter, because that's like a layering thing. First layer is clear, the foundations are clear, it would be easy for you to pick more easily. Okay, now comes the development phases of management theories. These all theories we will be covering. So these are like the 5 approaches towards management. Historical background, we have just discussed about early examples of management. Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations, Industrial Revolution, there's another period. Then classical approaches, we will study 2 types in that, or 2 subdivisions. Then quantitative approach, then behavioral approach, then contemporary approach. So everything which is mentioned on this development of major management theories chart will be discussed in detail. So let's start. These are the 6 approaches. Scientific management we have just gone through. Then we'll study general administrative theory, quantitative management, OB, system approach, and contingency approach. So 6 approaches we are going to discuss in this whole chapter. Okay, let's start with our approach number 1. That's scientific management. Okay. So here comes a time why there is a need after what Adam Smith has said, what Industrial Revolution has said. Then there is another person, Frederick Taylor, who mentioned and who is being called as father of scientific management. He also again in 1911 published a book that's called Principle of Scientific Management. अब हम इसको सिर्फ Principle of Management कहते हैं. Back at that time, it was Principle of Scientific Management. What his theory was like, only one best way can be done. If you want to do something, there should be only one best way. For example, I am specialized in, for example, just like I am specialized, I'm an HR manager. So my specialization would be in HR. I would be a very good with people. I would be very much concerned with that. Maybe I would be good at hiring. Maybe I'm good at selection. So everything goes like that. But he was of the point of view that only one best way should be done. Put the people for the right thing at the right time with the right tools, so they will be performing well. What does that mean? अगर मैं सही जगह पे, for example, if I'm hiring a person at a finance position, and I know that person is very much capable enough, he does have all the necessary maybe software, or maybe he has the necessary degree for that particular thing, so he would be the right choice for my that particular position. So he was of the point of view, Frederick Taylor, back at that time, कि आप लोगों को अगर सही जगह प्लेस कर देंगे, with सही उनको आप ट्रेनिंग देंगे या सही उनको टूल्स प्रोवाइड करेंगे, तो they would be doing their best and they would be minimizing your delays as well, minimizing all the cost as well. I'll tell you how the cost will be minimized. Having a standardized method of doing the job, providing economic incentive of the worker. he was of the point of view, अगर आप लोगों को एक जॉब एक ही तरीके से करने देंगे, उनको कहेंगे अच्छा अगर मैं फॉर एग्जांपल आई एम गुड एट फाइनेंस, लेट मी हैंडल विद द फाइनेंस पार्ट. इफ somebody else is good at maybe marketing, उसको marketing पकड़ा दो. अगर कोई और किसी और चीज में अच्छा, उसको वो काम दो. So that everything should be done in the standardized way. जब लोगों को हम रैंडम काम देते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल यू हैव सीन पीपल इफ दे आर नॉट दैट मच कैपेबल इनफ, और हम उनको कोई काम देते हैं या उनको टास्क देते हैं, तो डेफिनेटली दे वोंट बी एबल टू deliver it in a very appropriate way or maybe in a very right way. Last point is like providing economic incentive. Definitely it's a human psyche as well. Till the time you're not giving him any incentive, any bonus or anything in return, that person is not going to work well. इंसान की मोटिवेशन जब आप काम करने जाते हो, when you go on a work, when you go on your jobs, your motivation is your salary. So if you are being given a proper salary according to your skill set, maybe according to your education, whatsoever, maybe according to your designation, you will be satisfied with it. Same happened at that time. Back at that time, he was like of the opinion that people should be given incentive if they're working well. They should be given incentive over other people as well. Okay. Okay, now what were his 4 point of views? Taylor 4 principle of management were like, develop a science for each element of an individual work will replace the old rule of thumb, one rule of thumb method. He was of the point of view कि हर चीज पहले हमारे जो चीज हमने पहले जिस तरह we have discussed कि job specialization होनी चाहिए. So he was also of the same point of view कि लोग अपना काम एक बेस्ट तरीके से करें. जरूरी नहीं है कि बेस्ट तरीके का मतलब जिस तरह हमने यहाँ पे पढ़ा one best way. If I'm being hired, I will be doing that work in the same way like the previous person was doing it. He was of that point of view. अगर सब लोग उसी तरीके से काम करेंगे तो उसमें एरर होने के चांसेस मिनिमाइज हो जाएंगे. डेफिनेटली आपकी कॉस्ट भी मिनिमाइज होगी बिकॉज there would be no errors in that. There would be no mistakes done by the people because everyone would be doing that part or that activity or that thing in the same manner. He also scientifically he said that it's not like कि आपको सबको train करना है. When you feel like this is the right person for this particular job, सिर्फ उनको select करके उनको train करो, उनको बताओ और उनको enrich करो, उनको grow करोगे तो definitely personal growth जब एक बंदे की होती है ना, definitely he or she would be contributing more as well. Any question?
No, ma'am.
Sorry, repeat again.
Can you repeat the first point again?
Okay. The first point is like develop a science for each element of an individual works, which will replace the old thumb of rule method. जिस तरह हमने पहले, let me again go back. हमने यहाँ पे पहले we have seen कि यहाँ पे division of labor की बात की थी कि specialization होनी चाहिए. He's not talking about specialization. He's talking about one best method. जरूरी नहीं है आप specialized हो या नहीं हो, but आपको एक तरीके से काम करना है. When you're doing in the same manner, it will become easy. For example, if I have to leave, मैं quit कर देती हूँ, मुझे निकाल दिया जाता है, whatsoever, अगर वो बंदा निकाल दिया जाता है, nothing happens. एक और बंदा replace होगा because वो उसी तरीके से काम करेगा जो एक standardized format में बन गया है. So Taylor was of the point of view that people should be doing work in their best manner regardless of like what their task is. Let me give you an example. It's same like अगर मैं कहूँ मैं आपको फैक्ट्री की एग्जांपल इसलिए दूंगी बिकॉज दैट्स मोर इजी एंड रिलेटेबल कि जो फैक्ट्री बेल्ट्स पे लोग काम करते हैं, असेंबली लाइन होती है ना एक पूरी, जिस तरह यू हैव सीन इन डिफरेंट वीडियोस, मे बी आई हैव आल्सो अपलोडेड द वीडियोस, डू वॉच देम एज वेल. आई हैव अपलोडेड द वीडियोस ऑफ असेंबली लाइन कि हाउ इंडिविजुअल वर्क इज added towards that. For example, my work is just for example, I have to pick some material, so I have to pick it, put it to another place and then forward it to another one. So another person again picks it and do his or her job. So he was of the point of view, for the first point I'm again mentioning, कि हर बंदा अपनी job अगर perfect कर रहा है he specialized in that. He knew what he is doing it, and जो methodology was same इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं. I am doing same, my colleague is doing same, my another colleague is doing same, so everybody is doing same. That reduces your time, your cost, your efforts. He was of that point of view. Then he specifically said कि आपको हर किसी को ये चीजें नहीं सिखानी. Just select and train those people who you think are capable enough of doing it. Also, he mentioned that you need to make sure that people are doing the wholeheartedly. Heartedly cooperate with your workers so that they will be learning it. वही वाली बात है, अगर one of my workers said that I'm not comfortable in doing it, for example, just for the example, or he's like he needs some more clarifications or more training on that, so you need to train that person. जिस तरह हमारे जितने भी जिस तरह हमारे को सेल्स के जो हमारे लोग होते हैं specifically, when they go out in the market, they are being trained at how they are going to question the people. जिस तरह जो insurance होती है, जो those who are selling insurance, those who are like cold calling होती है, just for the example I'm telling you. So we at that time, being from the sales department, हम उनको train करते हैं, हम उनको बताते हैं कि आपने किस तरह बात करनी है, अपने लोगों को किस तरह कन्विंस करने हैं. ये क्योंकि आपकी स्पेशलाइज्ड जॉब है, ये आपको पता है, एंड यू आर गुड एट दैट थिंग. अगर उनकी कोई प्रॉब्लम होती है तो वी लिसन दोस प्रॉब्लम्स एंड वी ट्राई टू रिजॉल्व दोस थिंग्स. सो सेम थिंग्स हैपेंड एट दैट टाइम, बैक एट दैट टाइम एज वेल. टेलर वाज ऑफ द व्यू पॉइंट दैट अपने वर्कर के साथ कोऑपरेट करे. ओके, लास्ट पॉइंट इज लाइक डिवाइड वर्क एंड रिस्पांसिबिलिटी अमंग इक्वली बिटवीन. पहले क्या होता था कि हर काम सिर्फ वर्कर्स करते थे. जब हमने पहले का बात की, back in Adam Smith time, everything was done by workers. Managers were not helping, or managers were just dictating or telling them. He was of the point of view कि management को भी अपना काम करना है. They should be equally responsible for everything, and they should be equally dividing everything as well. It's not the worker who has to work and do everything. It should be equally divided between manager as well as worker. Any question up till now? Any point that's being missed or not cleared?
No, ma'am.
Okay, great. Let's move forward. We have just studied, abhi humne scientific management mein, we have studied one of the basic principles and one of the major theory, that's by Frederick Taylor, scientific management. Now there is another person who was following this management, that was Frank and Lillian Gilbreth. Who were they? Basically, they were a couple. They were husband and wife. They both were working. Frank was basically जिसको हम कहते हैं ना construction पे. He was like a person who was giving orders to other people. He was that person. Construction site पे, he used to give orders to other people. He was working over there. Lillian was a doctor by profession. So when they heard about the tailors, these four principles, they studied their book, which was mentioned, Principle of Scientific Management. They got very much interested into this. What they tried to do that, okay, fine, Taylor was very much right, people should be doing everything in one best method. Now, if one person is doing in one best method, that means जिस तरह हमने बात की, बहुत से errors भी हो सकेंगे. अगर मुझे ये काम इसी तरह करना है, मुझे अगर चीज उठा के यहाँ से यूं यहाँ रखनी है, but that means there would be a lot of hand movements, a lot of gestures, a lot of my posters I have to again move here and there. So both of them, husband and wife, work on this, and they said that we need to reduce this wasted motion. I am picking something, I'm putting on another thing, so that's my motions. I am like handling the things and I'm using my hands. So this is like, again, I need to reduce that so that my efficiency and my time would be reduced. So both of them, what they did, they developed a micro chronometer to time workers' motions and optimize work performance. अगर मैं एक काम कर रही हूँ, they made a micro chronometer. What actually that meter did, अगर I'm picking something, it's gauging my time कि मैं कितने टाइम एक चीज उठाती हूँ, कितना टाइम लगता है. Some of the things from the naked eye हमें नहीं नजर आ रही, but हो रही होती है. तो what they did, उन्होंने एक मीटर, माइक्रोमीटर बनाया, माइक्रो क्रोनोमीटर बनाया. They actually try to see that how a worker is performing their job, कितनी उसकी hand and body movements होती हैं, because these hand and body movements basically are your motions, and they can be like sometimes आप एक चीज अगर मुझे यहाँ से उठा के यहाँ रखनी है, but मैं पहले उठूं फिर खड़ी हूँ फिर उसको यहाँ रखूं, that will be again time taking. So he tried to reduce the time, और उन्होंने इस चीज को, अगर that was done पहले अगर 24 hand movements थी वो उसको 7 पे ले आए, अगर 32 थी तो उसको 10 पे ले आए. That's they have done it. So basically they devised 17 basic hand motions that's called as Thurblings. उन्होंने इसको hand and body movements parts को Thurblings का नाम दिया. उन्होंने कहा अगर हम ये Thurblings को कम कर सकेंगे, reduce कर लेंगे, तो हमारी productivity increase हो जाएगी. क्योंकि बहुत सी चीजें हमारी, बहुत से hand and body movements हमें अपनी इस naked eye से नजर नहीं आ रहे, but when we are testing or we are measuring it through a microchronometer, it's become easy and we could easily reduce it. इसको करने से, if a person or a factory was, for the example, okay, they were producing maybe 4,000 something, it doubled into 8,000 or 12,000, because बहुत ही चीजें हमारी एक्स्ट्रा हो रही थी जब इन्होंने ये Thurblings जब इन्होंने आइडेंटिफाई किया कि we can lessen the hand and body movements, so it becomes more easy. Any question? It's clear. अभी तक हम बिल्कुल बेसिक, हमने दो approaches की बात की. One is from the Taylor and the second one is about the Frank and Lillian Gilbreth, because both are husband and wife, and what they did, they made a microchronometer to reduce the hand and body movement, and that was, this hand motion was called as Thurbling. उन्होंने खुद इसको नाम दे दिया ताकि it becomes easy for people to remember this hand and body motions का movement के name, so that it can be reduced and your productivity would be increased. Okay, now the main question, how do you today's manager use this scientific movement? आजकल अगर हम ये क्यों पढ़े, now it's the era of 2020, या हम लोग 20th century में रह रहे हैं, या अगर हम we are following like millennial, हम लोग कहते हैं कि we are in this era of what are this era is called, इस era को क्या कहते हैं? Anybody?
What, ma'am? Can you repeat the question?
In this era which we are living in, जिस तरह पहले baby boomers से X generation थी, Y generation थी, what this era is being called? Millennials. या हम इसको आजकल, more people called it Z millennials as well. Like you guys right now are Z millennials. Okay. So my question is that why we are studying this scientific management? हम कहें भाई why we are studying it? What is the purpose of this? How it's contributing towards our life? So here is the answer of that, that by using these scientific approaches of management, we can study time, we can study motion studies to increase our productivity, because these hand and body motions, where they are applicable, like जो factories में या आपके assembly lines में, they are very important aspects. अगर हम इनको decrease कर सकेंगे, definitely productivity increase होगी. Productivity increase होगी तो आपकी जो production है वो increase हो जाएगी. Sorry. Secondly, we are going to hire the best qualified employee. Like best job fit would be hired. This thing again, आजकल भी अगर you go, अगर because अगर market को देखो, the market में right now the current scenario is same. Everybody is specialized in that particular field, and that's why they are being hired. If I am hiring for a managerial position, I will hire a person who would be best at her or her own position. For example, मुझे अगर एक supply chain में I have to hire a person, so I'm going to hire a person who specializes in supply chain. So hire the best qualified employee for that particular job. Lastly, again, design incentive system based on output. The same thing is happening in today's market as well, that you get pay for your performance. It's salary based, performance based salary. Whatever you're going to do in the organization, even people with the same education, same experience are getting different salaries. Why? Because how they are giving output in terms of their work, they would be incentivized, or they would be rewarded according to that. Any question?
Ma'am, can you please repeat the third one?
Third one is like it's pay for performance. basically whatever I'm doing, for example, if I am doing a very good job, so I will be paid for this. I give you the example. If you if you two colleagues, maybe class fellow, जब एक साथ graduate होते हो, एक साथ market पे जाते हो, when you will be placed somewhere, you will be working alone. सबकी same education है, same degree है, BBA के लिए भी है, but you can get different salaries as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can get different salaries because of your output.
Okay.
Okay, am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just wait a second. Okay, so the next approach is journal administrative theory. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay, just go through it and then I'll ask and then I will discuss it. Go through it, ek dafa khud padho sare, and then we'll discuss what's written in this. Okay, so now the second point, that's second approach, is journal administrative theory. Everybody has gone through the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's start with this one. Is basically there was another person, that's Henry Foyle. Henry Foyle is one of the person in management whose theories are still being used. जो हम functions पढ़ते हैं, planning, organizing, leading and controlling, that's being given by Henry Foyle. हमने अपनी previous class में, when we were discussing about the four functions of management, we had discussed him, but let's discuss more that what was his point of view. He was basically a managing director of a French coal company at that time. He believed that management should be a function that should be distinct from the other organizational function. He was of the point of view कि okay, you're all doing management, हम सब इसको practice भी कर रहे हैं, but ये बाकी हमारे function से different होती है. जिस तरह इसने हमें पहले, because he had already given 4 stages, the 4 functions of management are planning, organizing, leading and controlling. So basically he further divided into कि अगर हमें organizationals को और ज़्यादा further divide करने हैं, तो he gives us 14 principles of management that being applied for the management. For the organizational situations. What those 14 principles are? These are the 14 principles given by Henry Ford. Even these principles are still used in our today's world, in today's market, in today's organizations. Everybody is using it. Now, what is division of work? Whoever is specialized in that, we will be putting that person for the right job. Authority, when you are being responsible for something, when you are being given an authority, definitely authority comes with responsibility as well. If I am in charge of something, that's my authority. That means I am responsible for that thing. Discipline over here means that the worker as well as the manager should be doing the work in the right way. Unity of command. What is unity of command? That there will be one boss for every individual. For example, if there is a worker, there would be a boss on him. So everybody would be reporting to one person. Unity of command. Unity of direction is basically you need to give direction to your workers, your employees, so that they will be clear. They would be having clear idea what exactly management want them to do. I'll make it more simplify. अगर आपने लोगों को अपने वर्कर्स को बताया नहीं कि आपने काम किस तरह करना है, किस नौयत का करना है, किस तरीके से करना है, तो डेफिनेटली देयर विल बी अ लॉट ऑफ एरर्स. अगर हम उनको एक्सप्लेन करेंगे कि ये काम करने का तरीका है, दिस इज द वर्क दैट इज सपोज्ड टू बी डन बाय यू, दैट बिकम्स देयर लाइफ इजी एज वेल एज आवर लाइफ इजी एज वेल for the from the manager perspective. Okay, subordination of interest, individual interest to the general interest. Now what does that mean? It means आपके इंडिविजुअल इंटरेस्ट को हमें सबऑर्डिनेट करना है, हमें वो नहीं देखना है, बट वी नीड टू कीप द जनरल इंटरेस्ट ऑफ ऑल द पीपल ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. समटाइम्स बहुत दफा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में भी लोग अपने इंडिविजुअल इंटरेस्ट को देखते हैं, अपने मफाद को देखते हैं, ना कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बेनिफिट को. वी डोंट हैव टू डू लाइक दिस. वी नीड टू सी ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल बेनिफिट. जिस चीज में ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को नुकसान है, चाहे मे बी बीइंग अ मैनेजर आपको नुकसान हो रहा हो या आपकी मे बी रेपुटेशन स्टेक पे आ जाए, बट वी नीड टू डू दैट बिकॉज और हमें हमेशा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की इंटरेस्ट देखना है, ना कि इंडिविजुअल का इंटरेस्ट देखते हैं. बिकॉज वट एवर वी आर डूइंग, वी आर कोलैबोरेटली पुटिंग ऑल द एफर्ट्स फॉर द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, ताकि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, जिस तरह हमने फर्स्ट अपनी क्लास में पढ़ा था, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, व्हाट इज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन? इट्स अ डेलिब्रेट स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ पीपल वर्किंग टुगेदर to make it efficiently and effectively. Okay, next comes a very important stage, that is remuneration. What is remuneration? Remuneration is basic your salary, pay. Everybody is working for the pay. अगर आप अपने वर्कर को सही सैलरी दोगे, सही पे दोगे, they will get motivated, they will get satisfied, they will be working along with you. अगर आप अपनी सैलरी काटोगे, उनको कहोगे या आप उनको बार बार कहोगे कि सैलरी नहीं दूंगा मैं अगर ये काम नहीं करोगे, तो definitely they feel threatened. They won't like to work with you. So he was of the point of view that give your employees the right salary so that they will be working in a good way. Next point is centralization. Henry Fayol was of the point of view that everything should be centralized. Agar jo bhi decision lena hai, everybody should be involved because workers are working on those things. They should be also part of your decision. They should be asked किस तरह करना है, क्योंकि being a manager मैं कोई decision impose कर देती हूँ, but they are the actual people who are going to do it. मुझे उनकी राय भी लेना जरूरी है, मुझे उनसे भी उनकी फीडबैक लेना जरूरी है. So that's like centralization. Scalar chain is basically the command that how we are going to do it. For example, बहुत सी जगह क्या होता है कि आपके पास एक डेजिग्नेशन में 2 लोग हैं या 2-3 लोग हैं, तो आपको अगेन मुझे किसको रिपोर्ट करना है, मुझे किसको बताना है, मैं अगर बीइंग अ वर्कर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू कि मैं किसको ये चीज बताऊंगा कि कोई प्रॉब्लम होगी. तो यू नीड टू हैव अ वेरी स्केलर चेन कि अगर मेरे ऊपर जो बॉस है मुझे सिर्फ उसी को बताना है, उससे ऊपर. दिस इज आल्सो बीइंग कॉल्ड हायरार्की. आजकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में हायरार्की होती है, इसीलिए हायरार्की. यू नीड टू फॉलो दिस चेन ऑफ कमांड. आप एक दूसरे को you don't jump to another person, you follow this command. Now what is order? Order is basically that everything in the organization should be in an orderly, systematic way. Why? Because for example, being a manager, what I am doing, what my worker is doing, if everything is in an orderly way, it would be easy for all the staff as well as for me to work along. अगर बहुत ज़्यादा चीज़ें haphazard होंगी, messed होंगी, definitely it won't be easy for everyone to work along. Equity again, organizations give a lot of importance to this factor, that's principle, that is equity, that everybody is equal. अगर गलती मैनेजर की है तो मैनेजर को चाहिए कि वो माने, अगर वर्कर की गलती है तो उसको चाहिए वो माने. So जिस तरह हम कहते हैं ना, everybody is equal in the eyes of law, this is the same thing. He suggested at that time that everybody working in the organization should be having equal rights. राइट्स में किसी का कोई कमी नहीं होनी चाहिए. ये नहीं कि वो वर्कर है, इसके राइट्स कम है, मैं मैनेजर हूँ, मेरे राइट्स ज्यादा हैं. इट्स नथिंग लाइक दैट. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज स्टेबिलिटी ऑफ टेन्योर ऑफ पर्सनल. I should be, for example, if I want to quit, I should be knowing who would be the next contender, who should be the next person who is going to fulfill this seat. So I should have some backup in mind कि अगर ये बंदा मुझे पता है नहीं सही काम कर रहा है या मुझे इसको निकालना है, आई नीड टू फायर हिम और आई नीड दैट पर्सन टू लीव द माय ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, सो हु वुड बी द नेक्स्ट पर्सन? मेरा काम तो रुकना नहीं चाहिए ना, तो मैं उसके लिए क्या करूंगी, आई कीप अ बैकअप इन माई माइंड कि कौन सा बंदा बैकअप है, अगर ये बंदा छोड़ के भी जाता है तो हु वुड बी टेकिंग ओवर दैट पर्टिकुलर टास्क। नेक्स्ट थिंग इज इनिशिएटिव। जिस तरह हमने पहले प्रिंसिपल में बात की थी, सॉरी सेकंड प्रिंसिपल में अथॉरिटी की, कि अथॉरिटी कम्स विद रिस्पांसिबिलिटी एज वेल। व्हेन यू आर रिस्पांसिबल, definitely you can take initiatives as well. Again, initiatives are good. That means you are thinking, you are contributing something towards the organization. People who are contributing, definitely organization भी उनको ज्यादा अच्छा समझती है। डेफिनेटली अब जिस तरह हमने प्रीवियसली बात की, उनकी सैलरी भी इंक्रीज होगी बिकॉज दे आर डूइंग समथिंग एक्स्ट्रा फॉर द organization, they are initiating, they are coming with different ideas, different techniques. So people will be encouraging, and people, organization will also will be entitling or maybe rewarding them. Okay, last but not the least is aspirate the corps. What does that mean? Aspirate the corps is basically a terminology that while working in teams, हम जहाँ कहीं भी बात करते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में, एवरीबडी इज वर्किंग इन अ टीम। जब तक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में टीम स्पिरिट नहीं होगी, सब लोग एक साथ काम नहीं करेंगे, हार्मनी नहीं होगी, कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं होगी, नथिंग कैन बी डन। सो टू वर्क इन एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन देयर शुड बी अ टीम वर्क, देयर शुड बी अ टीम स्पिरिट। हर किसी को पता है कि मैं अपना काम कर रहा हूँ, दूसरा भी अपना काम कर रहा है। व्हेन वी गेट अलोंग विद ईच अदर, दैट मेक्स अ लाइफ इजी टू वर्क टुगेदर। Any question up till now? हमने 14 points discuss की. Anybody having any confusion?
Scalar chain, can you repeat that?
Scalar chain. Scalar chain is basically chain of command. कि अगर मैं किसी को कोई बता रही हूँ, हम जिस तरह अभी हम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में इसको रिपोर्टिंग लाइन कहते हैं, कि मैंने अगर फॉर एग्जांपल मैं अभी एग्जीक्यूटिव हूँ, आई विल बी रिपोर्टिंग टू माय मे बी असिस्टेंट मैनेजर, देन असिस्टेंट मैनेजर विल बी रिपोर्टिंग टू मैनेजर, manager may be reporting to senior manager, senior manager would be reporting to this. So this is scalar chain of command. So in an organization, everybody have to flow this or follow this chain of command, which right now we call is at hierarchy. हम इसको hierarchy भी कहते हैं। आजकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में इसको टाइटल्स में हायरार्की का नाम दिया जाता है, चेन ऑफ कमांड। दैट्स लाइक स्केलर चेन। एनी अदर क्वेश्चन? Okay, then let's move forward. After Henry Fromm, administrative theory में एक और another person, Max Weber. Now, who is Max Weber? We are still discussing the second approach of that is general administrative approach. अभी हमने सिर्फ एक इसमें scientist को discuss किया, Henry Fromm को, and he has given us 14 principle of that. Now we are discussing another person that's being called as Max Weber. Max Weber is basically a person who was working for an organization back late at that time. He was also of the point of view, he actually proposed a thing called as ideal bureaucracy. What was that point of view? He was of the point of view that if there is a bureaucracy in the organization, people will be working more. अगर मैं कहूँ आज भी हमारे लोगों की यही मेंटालिटी, सॉरी टू से, है कि अगर जब तक आपको डांट नहीं पड़ेगी, जब तक आप लोगों को फोर्स नहीं करोगे, दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू वर्क वेल. सो एट दैट टाइम मैक्स वेबर वाज ऑफ द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दैट आइडियल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस वो हैं जहाँ पे ब्यूरोक्रेसी होती है. क्यों आइडियल है वो? क्योंकि उसमें एम्फसाइज्ड ऑफ रैशनैलिटी होती है, प्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी होती है, इम्पर्सनैलिटी होती है, टेक्निकल कॉम्पिटेंस होती है और अथॉरिटेटिज्म होता है. बिकॉज एवरीथिंग इज अलाइंड. A person who is having the authority will be dictating other people what to do, how to do. In a very systematic way, everything would be done. There is nothing wrong in that if we transfer. For example, let me give you the example of just हमारे forces हैं, armed forces में everything is very bureaucratic because from the top management, whatever they are seeing, the down lane, or what you say, down lane, the management, every hierarchy or every layer of that, every level is doing what the top management is saying. They don't have to decide anything. They don't have to think. Okay, they can think for their own particular domain, but strategically, it's from the top management. So it's bureaucracy. So this is the division that he has proposed, he has suggested. Even this was not very ideal. अभी भी बहुत से organization नहीं use करती. When this theory was given, there was a lot of criticism. बहुत से लोगों ने बहुत criticize किया इसको कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. But still, there are organizations, those who are following this model. Okay, now what his model was, according to his model, there are 6 types or 6 characteristics that should be done. Number 1 is division of labor. Job should be broken down into simple routine tasks and well-defined tasks. That जिस तरह हमने पहले एडम स्मिथ ने यही बात की डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर की कि हर बंदे को जॉब्स को डिवाइड कर दो. अगर मेरा काम अगर चीजें पिक करना है तो मैं सिर्फ वही करूँ. अगर मेरा काम किसी चीज को स्टिच करना है, आई वुड बी डूइंग द स्टिचिंग. If अगर my work is do labeling, I will be only doing labeling. That's division of work. Everybody would be doing just the work he or she is assigned. Next thing is authority and hierarchy. जिस तरह भी हमने पीछे बात की, हेनरी फॉयल ने भी यही कहा था, स्केलर चेन होनी चाहिए, चेन ऑफ कमांड होनी चाहिए, that everybody would be very clear कि मुझे किसको रिपोर्ट करना है. अगर मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम है, अगर मुझे कोई चीज शेयर करनी है, अगर मेरे पास कोई नया आइडिया है, whom I am supposed to share with. That's authority and hierarchy. Next thing is formal selection. People.
Excuse me, ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, what is hierarchy?
Hierarchy is basically, okay, जिस तरह अगर let me give an example. जिस तरह हमारी अभी यूनिवर्सिटी में there is vice chancellor के नीचे there is dean के नीचे there are HODs के नीचे there are faculty members. This is hierarchy. VC के नीचे dean है, dean के नीचे HODs हैं. These are like the reporting line. अगर HOD को कोई प्रॉब्लम होता है तो वो डायरेक्टली VC के पास नहीं जाएगा, वो पहले डीन से कंसल्ट करेगा. एंड डीन अगर कहेगा कि आप डायरेक्टली VC से बात करो तब वो VC के पास डायरेक्टली जाएगा, अदरवाइज डीन वुड टॉक टू VC. तो यू डोंट हैव टू ब्रेक द हायरार्की, आप अपनी हायरार्की को फॉलो करते हो.
Okay.
फॉर एग्जांपल बीइंग द फैकल्टी मेंबर, अगर मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम है तो मैं डायरेक्ट VC के पास नहीं जा सकती. दिस इज नॉट इन माय हायरार्की. मुझे सबसे पहले अपनी प्रॉब्लम को बताना है HOD को. HOD अगर सॉल्व नहीं कर सके, HOD डिस्कस करेंगे डीन के साथ, और अगर डीन को लगा कि मुझे ये बात VC से करनी चाहिए तो VC से करेंगे. अदरवाइज everybody on his or her designation would be doing it by themselves. This is hierarchy. Clear?
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
No problem. Okay. Anybody have any question? You can ask me. Just raise your hand and you can ask in between as well. Next is formal selection. वही वाली बात आजकल भी whenever जिस तरह if you have gone through, अगर job advertisements देखी होंगी, people have clearly mentioned कि हमें कौन लोग चाहिए. I need a person with 2 or 3 year experience, with this skill set, with this qualification, with this specialization. So this is formal selection. I'm very much clear about my instruction in terms of selection, because अगर मुझे एक engineer hire करना है, maybe I have to hire a mechanical engineer, तो मैं उसमें कोई electrical engineer को hire नहीं कर लूँगी. I will be specifically hiring a mechanical engineer for that particular position or a job. So my selection, my hiring would be particularly based on my position. If I have to hire for a marketing position, मुझे अगर marketing manager चाहिए, तो मैं सिर्फ मार्केटिंग वाले बंदों को उठाऊंगी, those who have specialized in marketing, जिनका मे बी MBA in marketing हो, मे बी जिनका BBA in marketing हो, मैं उन लोगों को हायर करूंगी. So I have to be very specialized. I have to be very selected in that. Next comes, according to Max Weber, there should be rules, formal rules and regulations. जिस तरह तुम लोगों को भी when you joined your this university, there was a कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट, एक बुक दी गई थी आप लोगों को, स्टूडेंट हैंडबुक जिसको हम कहते हैं. उसमें सारे रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस मेंशन थे कि व्हाट आर द डूज एंड व्हाट आर द डोंट्स. आप क्या कर सकते हो, क्या नहीं कर सकते, किस चीज की क्या पॉलिसी है, क्या प्रोसीजर है, क्या SOPs है, व्हाट यू नीड टू डू. सो दीज आर फॉर्मल रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस. सो बैक एट दैट टाइम मैक्स वेबर वाज ऑफ द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दैट देयर शुड बी रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन predefined, that everybody should be clear about that. Okay. Next comes impersonality. Now what is impersonality means? That there should be uniform application of all those rules. Nothing to do with the personality, nothing to do with the designation. I am the manager, for example, let me give the example of the university. अगर university में कोई इंस्ट्रक्शंस निकलती हैं, तो वो इंस्ट्रक्शंस बीसी के लिए भी अगर हैं, डीन के लिए भी हैं, एचओडीज के लिए भी है, फैकल्टी के लिए भी है और स्टूडेंट्स के लिए भी है। वो इंस्ट्रक्शन सिर्फ ये नहीं कि स्टूडेंट्स के लिए सिर्फ हैं, वो सबके लिए है। तो रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन जब भी बनाए जाते हैं, दैट शुड बी इक्वली यूनिफॉर्म अमंग ऑल पीपल। इट शुड नॉट बी कि मैं मैनेजर हूं तो मेरे लिए ये रूल्स नहीं है, ये क्योंकि एम्प्लॉई है ये इसके लिए रूल्स हैं। ही वॉज द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दैट इट शुड बी यूनिफॉर्म। नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज करियर ओरिएंटेशन। मैनेजर्स आर करियर प्रोफेशनल्स, नॉट ओनर्स और यूनिट दे मैनेज। अच्छा, अब यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा क्लैरिटी चीज़ों की ये है कि वेल वी आर वर्किंग इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, डेफिनेटली हम उस चीज़ को ओन करते हैं। मे बी अगर मैं फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लेट मी गिव यू माई एग्जाम्पल, मैं आई एम डायरेक्टर ऑफ करियर सर्विसेज एंड ऑल्सो एलुमनाई रिलेशंस। मैं दोनों पोर्टफोलियो को रन कर रही हूँ, मैं प्लेसमेंट को भी देखती हूँ, मैं एलुमनाइज को भी देखती हूँ, मैं इन दोनों चीज़ों को रन कर रही हूँ। मैं इन दोनों चीजों को रन करी हूँ, बट दैट डज नॉट मीन कि आई एम द ओनर ऑफ दैट। मैं एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की एम्प्लॉई हूँ, एम्प्लॉय को काम करना है, लेकिन ये नहीं समझना कि मैं ओनर बन गया, उस तरह का डिसीजन लेना शुरू कर दे खुद से बगैर मैनेजमेंट को इन्वॉल्व किए, तो वन कुड नॉट डू इट एंड वन शुड नॉट डू इट, बिकॉज when you are part of some organization you need to follow their instruction. Even they have given you title, they have given you authority, they have given you responsibility, you are being responsible for that as well, but अपनी authority को भी हमें एक लिमिट में लेके चलना है, because you need to involve upper authorities, top management while taking any decision. Am I clear about Max Weber? Any question? कुछ समझ ना आ रहा हो, you can ask me. Okay, chalo, no question. Let's proceed further. Now, I have a question for you all. How do today's managers use this general administrative theory? Who would like to answer this question? अभी हमने दो बात की, हमने एक हेनरी फर्ड के 14 पॉइंट डिस्कस किए इसमें, और हमने मैक्स वेबर की आइडियल ब्यूरोक्रेसी की 6 पॉइंट्स डिस्कस किए. Do you think these are still workable or doable in today's world, in today's life?
No.
Why not?
That's because they're looking for their own. They're doing anything they do is for their own interest mostly.
Okay. ठीक है, to some extent you are right, but still जिस तरह अगर let me go back, हमने मैक्स वेबर के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू की बात की. He was also like authority होनी चाहिए, hierarchy होनी चाहिए, formal rules and regulation होने चाहिए. More or less, ideally they are still applied in the organizations. आज भी तुम लोगों को जब you joined an this university, you were given an orientation, you were given a student handbook, you were particularly selected based on your percentages. Nobody, for example, for BBA, the criteria is minimum 50%. No one of you would be selected if you have less than 50%. That's a formal selection. So more or less, things are being implemented. If we go back and see Henry Ford point of views, तो कहीं ना कहीं these are also implemented. So don't you think अगर भी आज भी हमारी जो मैंने question पूछा कि today's manager या today's organizations are using these administrative theories?
Ma'am, the old firms which we have, like, which have like they're old, like they've been formed 50, 60 years back. I guess they're following these administrative theory. Other than that, the newest which are developed in the 21st century, they are not following these things.
Okay, like for example, whom you think are not following these things? Like, for example, you people are studying in an organization that's not of that era. This is of 21st century. Don't you think we are still following all those things? We are having a very proper structure. We are having a very proper hierarchy. Rules and regulation are defined. You people need to go through all the procedure and processes. Being from the student point of view, I'm talking about. Abhi, because there are no employees, there are students in this particular domain. आप लोगों को हर चीज को टेस्ट करना पड़ता है. You need to go through all the things in a very systematic way. जिस तरह you are being enrolled in 5 courses or 6 courses at a time, you could not go for more than that. So these are very systematic way of doing it. So कहीं ना कहीं बहुत सी चीजें they are still part of it. Maybe I agree, जिस तरह हमने पहले हेनरी फॉल में बात की चेन ऑफ कमांड की या अथॉरिटी की या डायरेक्शन की, तो it's if it's clear, people would be knowing what exactly their roles are, what is their criteria, why I'm being hired, मुझे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने क्यों हायर किया है, मेरा पर्पस क्या है, what I have to contribute towards. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I guess anybody else, because I can see all the names, otherwise I would start calling myself, okay, you need to answer. That's why I'm asking everybody should be participating, should be asking questions. Okay, let's move forward. The third approach. The third approach is called as quantitative approach of management. Now, according to this approach, everything that's been there, that's they are calling is that operations research or management sciences. पहले हमने बात की थी, जिस तरह हमने बात की, टेलर ने इसको, फ्रेडरिक टेलर ने इसको नाम दिया था प्रिंसिपल ऑफ साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट. क्वांटिटेटिव अप्रोच ने इसको ऑपरेशन रिसर्च और मैनेजमेंट साइंस का नाम दे दिया. नाउ just आहिस्ता आहिस्ता वी आर ग्रेजुअली कमिंग टू दिस प्रिंसिपल ऑफ मैनेजमेंट. कहाँ से evaluate हुआ, कहाँ से it emerges, we are coming on that point of view. So basically, according to quantitative approaches, it was started back after the World War II, because in World War II, all the people who were part of military, who were troops, what they were doing, they were managing logistics, they were managing control problem, they were managing everything through mathematics and statistical approaches. So उनका तरीके से उन्होंने कहा, अगर even the word strategy comes from the warfare से नाम strategy का word आया, क्योंकि जब strategy का word भी हमने warfare World War II के बाद से हमने भी pick it up, कि जब तक strategy नहीं होगी, how we are going to do some work. इसी तरह quantitative approach में भी they are also telling कि we need to do everything in a very, we have to do something through mathematical or statistical approach. करने से क्या होगा? It will improve our managerial decision making. If we have statistics, we have optimization models, we have information models and computer simulations. Anybody knew ये चार चीजें होती हैं क्या? What are statistics? What are computer simulations? Anyone having any idea?
That it is basically the what is the growth of the company in numbers.
Good. Agreed. ठीक है. What else? Anybody else? Why decision making will be improved through statistical method or methodology, like statistics. आजकल सारी दुनिया जब हम बात करते हैं, we are AI का जब this is the era of AI. What is AI? Artificial intelligence. People are working on data management, data scientist. Now these technologies have emerged because of this theory, statistics की वजह से. Whenever we are doing something, हम कहते हैं data दिखाओ, हमें stats दिखाओ, किस तरह grow है, क्या growth है, क्या figures है, आज की figure क्या थी, कल की figure क्या है, what we are doing in the past, so that we can have the comparisons. So optimization models, information models, computer simulations, these all are showing different statistics. These are different methodology of improving our decision making. Through this approach, management can improve their operations. Now, what are operations? Operations क्या होते हैं? अगर मैं एक factory में, I am going to employ 10 people. Definitely 10 people means 10 salaries I have to give. मैंने एक 10 लोगों को किस equation पे I have hired. I need to have that equation. So operation research, जिसमें तुम लोगों को अभी तुम लोग आगे जाके you will be studying a course that's called production operations management. Particularly in those course or in that course, we teach our students कि इस approach की कितनी अहमियत है. जितनी approaches है ना, actually जितनी approaches अभी हम पढ़ भी रहे हैं, these 6 approaches are basically few of your core subjects, which some are your maybe some are specialization courses भी आएंगे. कि इनकी जरूरत क्यों है? क्योंकि principle of management something that's the foundation, that's the basic layer of it. जब तक ये नहीं पता होगा आगे जाके things would be difficult as well. So इसीलिए if you are clear what is operation research, what is the methodology, how it can improve our decision making, definitely अगर मुझे पता है आज मैं right now my company is standing at this figure और my जिसको कहते हैं हमारा total revenue और जो मेरा अगर have you done with the course of cost accounting? Accounting पढ़ी है अभी तक? Ledgers बनाए हैं या balance sheets या income statements?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
We are studying
Yes, ma'am.
accounts.
Okay, you're studying accounting. So you would be having the idea कि इन चीजों की कितनी अहमियत है when you will be having your total output, total revenue. हमारी अगर जब आपने losses को माइनस करके अपने deficits को माइनस करके अपने जितने भी हम कहते हैं overheads को माइनस करके what would be our last जो हम कहते हैं ना overall cost. That's been like through this chart. That's how this quantitative approach comes in. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's move forward. Quantitative approach mein there is another concept.
Ma'am, how
Yes.
we differentiate a scientific approach and quantity and quality approach?
We'll discuss in the end. वैसे देखो scientific approach is basically जो हमने पहले starting में बात की थी, they were the early management theories of this management. Quantitative is basically the quantifying जिसको हम measure कर सके, quantify कर सके. It's more into numbers. वो चीजें थी, वो managerial के roles थे, job specializations थी, put right person for the right job, वो different theories थी. ये different approaches हैं. तभी मैंने कहा ये 6 बिल्कुल different approaches हैं. They are not being aligned together. हम इनको maybe they can be overlap कि कुछ बातें हम इसमें जरूर कर सकते हैं, but they are totally different from each other. यहाँ पे हम क्वांटिफाइंग बात करें, क्वांटिटी नंबर्स की बात करें, स्टैटिस्टिक्स की बात करें. प्रीवियसली हमने अभी जर्नल एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव थ्योरी में बात की थी, लोगों को मैनेज कैसे करने हैं, उनको क्या प्रिंसिपल्स होने चाहिए, किस चीज पे वो काम करना चाहिए, आइडियल ब्यूरोक्रेसी होनी चाहिए, ब्यूरोक्रेटिक अप्रोच होनी चाहिए ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में या नहीं होनी चाहिए. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स वर अलाइन्ड टुगेदर.
Oh, ma'am, which one is better as compared to organizational benefit? Is tactical decision or better or practical decision?
Okay. Actually, organizations में ना everything go hand in hand. There is nothing impractical. You need to have figures. You need to have quantitative approach. You need to have administrative approach as well. So everything go aligned hand in hand. हर चीज होती है. अगर for example मैं कहूँ एक organization में finance department भी है, एक organization में HR department भी है, एक organization में operation department भी है, जिसको हम supply chain भी कहते हैं, जिसको हम logistics भी कहते हैं, कभी कभी हम उसको operation भी कहते हैं, कभी कभी हम उसको procurement भी कहते हैं. Different names of the same domain. तो हर जगह हर चीज को जरूरी है. It goes hand in hand. हम मैं ये नहीं कह सकती ये अप्रोच बेहतर है, वो अप्रोच बेहतर नहीं है. सारी अप्रोचेस का डिफरेंट you can say utilization है, different requirements हैं. Am I clear?
Yes, okay.
Okay, let's proceed further. Now, another approach in quantitative approach is quality management. Now, what is quality? Quality होती क्या है? Like हम हर जगह सोचते हैं quality होनी चाहिए, चीजों को एक ही तरीके से करना चाहिए. जो भी चीज है, definitely अगर for example if we are buying a product, तो हम कहेंगे यार इसकी quality continual basis पे same है. Like जब भी मैंने उसको purchase किया, there is nothing wrong in that. Maybe the packaging, maybe the labeling, maybe the product usage, maybe even the product itself was same tha. That's the quality of something. So here comes a time people realizes that quality is another very important aspect. जब तक quality होगी, then people would be working on that. So there was a concept that was given by Deming and Juran. That's what total quality management. कि quality has nothing to do with the cost. Sometimes बहुत से लोग कहते हैं चलो quality अगर हम दे रहे हैं तो हम cost increase कर देंगे. कुछ कहते हैं अच्छा cost decrease करें तो quality भी decrease होनी चाहिए. But organizations, those who value their employees, those who value their customers, those who know what their customer relationship is, they said that quality is not directly to cost. If you're compromising your quality because of the cost, or you are mixing your quality because of the cost, then you're going to lose your customer base. Customers भी चले जाएंगे. total quality management is a procedure, is a process जिसके तहत हम ये कहते हैं कि फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मेरे पास एक ऑर्डर आता है, जिस तरह अगर मैं बात करूं ऑनलाइन, आजकल इट्स अ वेरी गुड एग्जांपल, जिस तरह ऑनलाइन बुटीक्स होते हैं, ऑनलाइन बुटीक बिल्कुल इस क्वालिटी मैनेजमेंट पे काम करते हैं. जब एक ऑर्डर आता है, दे प्रोसेस इट एंड देन दे मेक इट. उससे पहले वो चीज नहीं होती, दे जस्ट टेल्स यू, दे ब्रीफ यू एंड देन दे मेक इट कस्टमाइज फॉर योर थिंग. अब जिस तरह मैं बात करूं, जिस तरह अगर मैं फोर्ड मोटर्स है अगर, और जिस तरह अगर मैं कहूं इफ एनीबडी वुड लाइक टू हैव देयर कस्टमाइज्ड कार्स मेड, so there are organizations who are customized based models they are doing, they are producing. So that's how quality is being maintained, quality is being retained. अगर हम कोई अच्छा, these things can go hand in hand. मैं ये बिल्कुल नहीं है कि जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बल्क में चीजें बना रही है वो क्वालिटी मैनेजमेंट को नहीं अपना रही, वो भी क्वालिटी मैनेजमेंट को, they are also following it and they are not compromising on that philosophy of this management. But अभी क्वालिटी मैनेजमेंट में इन्होंने ये डैमिंग एंड ज्यूरन वाज ऑफ द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दैट वी शुड नॉट कॉम्प्रोमाइज आवर क्वालिटी जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ द कॉस्ट. अदरवाइज अगर हम ये करेंगे तो डेफिनेटली एक तो हम सबसे पहले अपना कस्टमर लॉस करेंगे. कस्टमर लॉस होगा तो डेफिनेटली हमारी जो लोग खरीद रहे थे दे वोंट बी बाइंग इट. जब चीज मार्केट में पुअर क्वालिटी की जाएगी, डेफिनेटली आपकी चीजें ज्यादा लॉन्ग टर्म में सस्टेन भी नहीं हो पाएंगी एंड नोबडी इज गोइंग टू परचेज इट. So the total quality management perspective is like you need to maintain your processes, you need to maintain your this all you can say जो भी आपका काम है उसको आप बिल्कुल एक यूनिफॉर्म रखो. यूनिफॉर्मिटी नहीं होगी, they would be, जिस तरह अगर फॉर एग्जांपल बीच में if you remember they were like अगर किसी प्रोडक्ट में कोई इशू आ जाता कि यार इसकी क्वालिटी अच्छी नहीं है, people stop buying it. एकदम सारे लोग एकदम हाइप आ जाती मार्केट में, people stop buying that product. Can you give me any example of any product इस तरह हुआ कि quality से decrease की and उसका customer flows का कम हो गया, customer needs खत्म हो गई? Any example? Anyone? Mashallah, I have 26 people on board right now, so nobody have any example in mind कि अगर चीजें अगर हम अपनी क्वालिटी को कॉम्प्रोमाइज करेंगे तो हम अपना कस्टमर लॉस करेंगे या नहीं? करेंगे. ओके, डेफिनेटली कस्टमर लॉस हो जाएगा, कस्टमर चला जाएगा, he or she won't be buying with us because we are not retaining our quality. Just for example, जिस तरह आजकल because of this COVID situation we are advised to wash our hands, we are advised हमें हर थोड़ी देर के बाद maybe हम are whenever we are going out we must use hand sanitizers. So that means जितनी अभी companies हैं, those who are making these hand wash or soaps, जिस तुम लोगों ने मार्केट में देखा होगा, the same product quantity भी same है but the cost is increased. Why?
Because demand is more.
Because demand is more. When the demand is increased, maybe we are not able to meet up the expectations. Maybe people are trying to create that monopoly. Maybe sometimes when we go in the market, we see like the shelves are empty. There's nothing over there. Why? Because agar economics mein you have studied that demand and supply.
Yes.
How it works along. Abhi bhi agar sometimes aajkal log bahut se log kya kar rahe hain, because of this COVID situation, they are trying to get advantage out of it. They're like, okay, we are making hand sanitizers at home. हम घर बना के बेच रही है. So there is a lot of competition just because of one situation. People have emerged with another idea. But वही वाली बात है, अगर मैं कहूँ इस तरह there was another research कि लोग कह रहे हैं कि hand sanitizer are not that much effective as soaps are. वो again there is another debate. So we need to maintain our quality. We need to maintain that thing so that we don't lose our customer base. Any question up till now? Okay, let's focus on these 6 points of quality management. Intense focus on the customer. Till the time you are not solely and wholly focusing on your customer base, definitely you're not going to retain it. वो businesses कामयाब नहीं रहते जो अपने customers को retain नहीं कर पाते. जो businesses अपने customer को retain रखते हैं, उनको satisfy करते हैं उनको products से अपनी services से, people are happy with them, they are going to retain with them. Next point is concern for continual improvement.
दरवाजे पे कोई आया था तो कोई खोल नहीं रहा था.
Hello.
खोलते.
Kindly please mute your
Sorry.
okay. So next, concern for continual improvement. So basically what is concern for continual improvement? कि अगर हम अपने customers को we need to give something new. इस तरह हम कभी अपनी packaging change कर देते हैं, अपनी labeling change कर देते हैं. Sometimes we change the size of the product. Maybe हम उसका shape change कर देते हैं, maybe color change कर देते हैं. तो it's continual improvement. ताकि हमारे customer को उसी चीज में different variations मिलती रहें. Okay. Third step is for process focus. Sometimes हम क्या करते हैं, हम उसका पूरा process change कर देते हैं. This example goes with the service industry. हमारी जितनी भी service industry है, for example, जिस तरह पहले एक time पे when we need to issue our SIMs, तो हम जाते थे shop पे, we just buy from any shop और SIM ले लेते थे. But now, after this maybe 2019 or 18, this whole process has been systematic, biometric system verification होनी चाहिए. Then you get your SIM verification and identification, and then you get your SIM. So the whole process has been changed. Same as the example for the Nadra. If you want to get your ID cards, previously it was done. It was a very rigorous process. It was a very आपको line में लगता पड़ता था, एक proper form होता था, form को fill. Now it becomes very easily. There are 24 hours working or facility available where you can go. Even it's online as well. People just sitting at your home place, you just fill the form and it's been done. So you have improved your processes. Okay, next stage is improvement in the quality of everything. When you want to retain your customers, you need to improve quality. मैं ये नहीं कह सकती कि अगर मैं कहूँ मैं अभी एक काम कर रही हूँ, मैं 10 साल तक यही काम कर रही हूँ, but with the passage of time definitely चीजें improve होंगी, मेरी inventory improve होगी, मेरी logistics improve होगी, तो मुझे अपनी quality को improve करना है. अगर for example if we give the example of Dettol, because right now that's the best example. Dettol अगर एक company recorded and mentioned की है and it's been there from like maybe past couple of years, it's been maybe 30 or 40 years, for example, so they have retained their quality. They have improved their quality in terms of maybe packaging, maybe color, maybe odor, maybe fragrance, maybe styling, maybe previously it was just in like अगर से वो bottles में आते थे, अब that's more into like अब उनके pouches भी आ रहे हैं. So again, it's being improved. हम अपनी quality को improve कर रहे हैं. Next phase is accurate measurement. Whatever we are doing, we need to have a check and balance. अगर चीजों में check and balance नहीं होगा, मेरी ऐसी कोई product market में खराब चली गई थी. For instance, एक दफा हुआ था एक product में, जिस तरह लोगों ने कहा, we just Lays की एक example थी. Back, I guess last year or last year there was a very much tragedy of this company that किसी ने इस chips खोला, there was a lizard in that. That was a dead lizard and it was packed, हो गया. So that means they were not having a proper check and balance of that. They maybe कहीं भी किसी तरीके से भी चली गई. So their quality was compromised. For a longer period, people have like हम नहीं लेंगे. It was again, there was a very hype in the social media as well. There was hype on the this media जिसको हम आजकल bloggers, vloggers, whatsoever. They also created this कि नहीं ये चीजें नहीं buy करनी चाहिए. But again, with the passage of time, they took accurate measures. They try to do it. कोई भी organization में जब कोई mishap होता है, तो definitely they try to maybe minimize it, maybe take precautionary measures so that they can minimize their errors. Lastly, last but not the least for the quality management is empowerment of your employees. जब तक लोगों को empower नहीं करोगे employees को, because customer को खुश रखना, okay, very important, that's the first aspect. But customer को खुश रखने के लिए आपके employees खुश रखेंगे. They are the, जिस तरह कहते हैं ना, they are like face of your organization. They would be directly dealing with the people. If you are going to empower your employees, sometimes जिस तरह अगर मैं कहूँ restaurant में when you go, there is a floor manager over there. Floor manager needs to decide by himself अगर कोई मसला आ जाता है, वो अपने पीछे organization को नहीं call करेगा कि ऐसा क्या हो गया, because he is being empowered by the organization. अगर कोई मसला होता है, you are also the decision maker. You can take decision. ताकि quality हमारी compromise ना हो, and you can fix that. For example, जिस तरह तुम लोग call center call करते हो, जैसे कोई भी there's these mobile service providers को, जिस तरह Zong को या Jazz को या Ufone को. So all these people knew how they have to tackle your problem. Everybody, every caller, every person who is calling their call center is having a different problem. So they are being empowered by their organization that how they have to deal with that. Any question till yet?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's move forward now. I have a question. How do today's manager use these quantitative approaches? Do you think it's being doable right now?
Yes.
Yes, how?
It's a better thing to manage the business.
It's very definitely it's the best thing to manage your businesses right now. Aajkal, even before pehle bhi, your figures, your total revenue, your total, maybe you can say cost of doing that business is very much important. If you can save anything through that by having these proper statistics, by having proper data, by having proper approaches, so definitely your business will be successful. So these quantitative approaches are very much into that. Second approach, which we have discussed in this quantitative approach, was quality management. Definitely, if one compromised on quality, you are going to compromise on your customer base as well. So you need to go hand in hand. The quality should be retained, customer should be happy, and in return, you will also keep your employee happy. So am I clear on this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So up till now, we have done 3 approaches: historical background, classical approach, and quantitative approach. We are going to start with our 4th approach. Let's have a break. I'll have a break because it's 10:57, it's 11. So we are going to have a break for 30 minutes. We are going to resume our class at 11:30. If you have any question, you can ask me. About the attendance, those people who came late or whose attendance was not marked, I'll mark in the end. Yes, Hafsa? I'll take another attendance, don't worry. I can see your chart. I can see everybody who have written Durinaya, Ariba, whoever have missed that or who are still not enrolled in the course, I'll mark your attendance, don't worry. So we are going to go
Thank you.
for a, yes?
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So we are going to have a break. We'll resume our class at 11:30 sharp. So everyone is back. Okay, great. I'll take the attendance at the last so that if anybody would be coming or joining late, so he or she would be marked attendance for the 2 classes. Let's resume where we have left. Let me share the screen with you guys. Okay, so we are going to start. We have up till now we have done 3 approaches of this earlier management. Now we are going to start our 4th approach, that's understanding organizational behavior. Now, what is organizational behavior? What is the importance? Because previously we have discussed about the early management, early theories of management, then general administrative theory of management. Then we have discussed the quantitative approach. Now, there comes a time we need to keep people in mind. That's organizational behavior. What is OB? OB is a study of actions and behavior of people at work. People are the most important asset of any organization, as it's written as well. Without people, nothing can be run. Nothing, no operations, no HR, no finance, no marketing whatsoever. It's like it's being governed, it's being run by people. So you need to cater your people. You need to keep them as an asset. You need to value them. You need to seek advice from them and also treat them well. So that's understanding of OB. So according to these 4 OB advocates early back in by Robert Owen, Hugo Munsterberg, Mary Barker, and Chester Bernard. These were the early four advocates of organizational behavior. These all four researchers were in the, or philanthropists were in, on the point of view that people should be given much more important than any of the perspective of your organization, because without people, nothing can be run. So what their point of view were, let's start with the late 1700s. That's like Robert Owen. At that time, he was like concerned about people, deliberate working conditions, proposed idealistic workplace, argued that money spent improving labor was smart investment. Late in 1700s, back at that time, he was very much concerned about people, that what should be the working conditions, उनका ambience कैसा होना चाहिए, किस तरह काम होना चाहिए, at least when you're working, all the adequate necessary things should be there, like for example, light, maybe electricity, maybe fan, maybe whatsoever, maybe ambience, if you need water, if you have to eat something. So the basic necessities should be there, like the working condition should be good. He also proposed that workplace should be an ideal place. Like I really want to work at that. For example, when I get up in the morning, I feel like I really want to go for my work. If it's not like that, that means people are not dedicated to you. People are just coming and going through that whole process or procedure because they're not involved in that workplace. So you need to make your workplace an ideal workplace that people really want to work for you. Lastly, he was like, money, whatever money, remuneration, salary you're giving to your employees, it's a smart investment. It's nothing like agar main har bande ko I will be threatening again and again कि I will be deducting your salary or I won't be giving your salary. So that's not a smart approach. I should be, whatever anybody is doing, he or she deserves that money. That salary is being deserved. So whatever your employee are doing, either you are giving him some benefits, maybe some bonuses. So that's the basic concern and that's a requirement. That's a smart investment. When you invest in your employees, those organizations are more successful who invest in their employees rather than anybody else. Okay. Then early 1900s, Hugo Munsterberg was also of the pioneer of this industrial psychology. He also proposed the same thing, that people should be given some relaxation. He also suggested that at that time of hiring, people should be done some test for selection, employee training, and study of human behavior, employee motivation. He was of the viewpoint, whenever I'm going to hire a person, it's nothing like कि बस मुझे अच्छा लगा, I'm going to hire it. Nothing like that. It would be a proper selection criteria. There should be a test. जिस तरह आजकल भी तुम लोगों को you all know written test होते हैं, कहीं पे interviews होते हैं, कहीं पे आजकल simulation test हैं, आजकल तो it's AI world, आजकल through different games, through different technology, even through different simulation, work simulation, it's a replica of your work. They're trying to test you before. So all these things are for the selection of an employee. So these are very important part. So he suggested that there should be a proper selection criteria. People should be tested, people should be given proper trainings, and then that employee, definitely his or her morale will be up, आपका morale भी होगा, आपका motivation भी होगी, आप अच्छी तरह लोगों से काम करने का दिल भी चाहेगा because you are satisfied with your current job. So he suggested it should be there. Then comes another person, that's Mary Parker. She suggested that in order to recognize your organizations, one has to change the perspective from organizational perspective of individual and group behavior. कि हमें सिर्फ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का पर्सपेक्टिव नहीं रखना, हमें अपने इंडिविजुअल्स का और अपने ग्रुप ऑफ इंडिविजुअल्स का बिहेवियर भी देखना है. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर just for example, if we talk about Unilever, because it's a multinational organization working in so many different countries. If it's working in Pakistan, definitely our dimensions, our geographical conditions are different from working people over there. Maybe if their headquarters is in another country, maybe, for example, मैं कहूँ अगर उनका कहीं भी न्यूयॉर्क में है या जिनेवा में है, so that's how they are working over there. But if they are having another subsidiary or another branch in Pakistan, so they need to work along with their people. That's their behavior, because everywhere people behavior are changed. People behavior tend to be part of their society. हम यहाँ वही बिहेव करते हैं जहाँ जैसे हमारी सोसाइटी बिहेव करती है. People don't behave accordingly. कि अगर for example if I'm working at maybe I'm working at Procter & Gamble, so my behavior would be same because being a Pakistani, हमारा जो behavioral aspects है वो same रहेंगे. But what we can do, we can give our individual importance. हम उनको सुने, हम उनकी राय सुने. हम सिर्फ ये ना कहें कि organization ये चाहती है. Organization जो भी चाहती है, but keeping in lieu and keeping in mind of individual or your employee perspective as well. She suggested this. She also proposed that more people-oriented ideas than scientific management followers. अगर हम हर बंदे को ये कहेंगे कि scientifically ये होता है, ये होता है, ये होता है, तो ठीक है, this was being done. But she suggested that it should be more people-oriented. Fine, whatever these approaches are, whatever management has discussed, whatever previous scholars, researchers have discussed, that's good, that should be there. But keeping in view your people, that should be a people-oriented approach. Your people should be satisfied with that approach. Lastly, he also thought that there should be a group ethics. Now, we all know what our group ethics are. While working in any organization, there are some code of conduct, some rules, some regulations. You need to follow that code of conduct, the rules and regulations of that particular organization. Even now, you being the student of DHS Sofa University, there are some rules and regulations being implemented on you as well. हर चीज तुम लोग भी नहीं कर सकते. Just for example, you need to wear formal, for the boys, it's formal dress. So you are not supposed to come in shorts. For the girls, that should be decent according to like our culture. It should not be, they should not be portraying or depicting vulgarity. So it's according to our group ethics. The ethics are basically based on your organization. That's how where it being situated, maybe geographical, maybe religious, maybe something according to social needs. So you need to cater all these aspects. So Mary Kotler suggested that while keeping in view the people point of view, these aspects are also very important. Then came a phase by 1930, Chester Bernard, another scholar, another researcher, proposed that actual manager who thought organization was social systems that required cooperation. Believed manager jobs was to communicate and stimulate employees' high-level effort. First, you argue that organizations were open system. Okay. Now let me elaborate all these point of views. His first point of view was that people should be working in a cordially manner, that everyone should be helping each other, everybody should be cooperating with each other. It's not like we are working in an atmosphere that everybody is in a competition. It's nothing like that. We are working in a social system. Everybody is socially connected. We need to have that connection. We need to have that cooperation. When people just think that I am the boss and I will be right and nobody else will be right, those organizations won't be successful. Those departments won't be working, or those people won't be working for long enough for that particular domain, because they don't know how to get along with the people. So it's very important to be social. We are all social animals. We need to be along with each other. When we are out of it, we become like alone. Maybe we become just, sometimes we are like left alone, or sometimes people say we don't want. But for organizations to be running successfully and efficiently, it needs to have cooperation in between. Second point he communicated was कि manager, his biggest or his major task for a manager is to do communication. He is the best person. So हमने first अपने chapter में भी हमने different roles, we have discussed different roles of a manager. Communication, communicator, negotiator, simulator, we have already discussed. So these are the major roles of a manager. He or she needs to put, otherwise organization में एक harmony नहीं रहेगी. Everybody would be like in a competition. Everybody would be in a race. We don't want to create that race. We want to create a harmony ताकि हर department एक दूसरे को support करेगा, because if I am not supporting another person, definitely there would be a revenge. Maybe there would be a competition. Maybe there would be a race that I would be, मेरा नाम boss लेगा. But in that race, organization is going to suffer. Lastly, his point of view was that organization should be open system. We'll discuss an open system होते क्या है. Open system are basically those organizations which work in their environment and they take, for example, their input from the environment, then they work on that and they send in the market. It's basically for all the organizations we discuss in detail. हमारा जो next approach है वो इसी open system के बारे में. So I'll elaborate that point over there as well. So these were 4 early advocates of organizational behavior. Okay, another point of view in this was of Hathron studies. Are you clear about the previous one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the next one is organizational behavior. Now, what is OB in terms of Hathron studies? This is again a very important study, and it's a very famous study as well. Why? Because basically that company, Western Electric, at that time, 1924 to 1932, they conducted a series of different experiments. What they do, they try to, you can say, play with the intensity of light, or they want to control the intensity of light. They created 2 groups. One was the control group, one was the experimental group. So the experimental group was कि अगर हम उनको लाइट रोशनी तेज करके देखें, रोशनी आहिस्ता करके देखें, तो इससे किसी एम्प्लॉय की प्रोडक्टिविटी पे असर होता है या नहीं होता. So they actually did that. So Western Electric in 1924 did different experiments. Different experiment was done, but at the end the conclusion was made कि अगर आप light, कितनी भी intensity of light, either you decrease or increase, there was no effect on the person's productivity till the time it's nothing visible, only the moonlight. जिस तरह कहते हैं moonlight की रोशनी में अगर आप आपको कुछ नजर ही नहीं आएगा, definitely you won't be able to work. जब तक इतनी लाइट ना कम कर गई तब तक तो लोग कुछ ना कर सके. But in the end the result was like there is nothing to do with the intensity of light on your organizational performance. आपके organizational performance का कोई ताल्लुक नहीं intensity of light से. Then what they did, they asked a Harvard professor, Halton Mayo, and Halton Mayo was a person who was called from Harvard in 1927 that we were facing a lot of problems in our Western Electric company. We want you to test over there. So he came from Harvard. He was a professor at Harvard at that time, Halton Mayo. So he did different experiments, and he tried to redesign the jobs, changes in work day, work week lengths. So what he did, अगर आप 9 to 5 काम करें तो उसने करते 8 to 4 कर दिया. अगर आप 10 to 6 कर दिया. So he changes your work days. If you're working Monday to Saturday, he said, okay, just work from Monday to Friday. Just work Monday to Thursday to see if there is any change in their performance. If you're working on this particular task, for the designing of job would be, अगर मैं अभी I'm working for the switching department. He swapped my position to another department, and then he see कि मेरी performance में कोई change है या नहीं है. So all these things he tried and tested to see कि अगर हम इन चीजों को redesign करते हैं तो either your performance is increased or decreased. So at the end of his research, he concluded for the Western Electrical that these things are very, even at one point what he did, he tried to give people incentive through money as well. कि मैं तुम्हें पैसे ज़्यादा दूंगा, if you work good, if you work well, I will be giving you a higher salary as well. But in the end, he concluded that even people were not that much, you can say, willing to work for the monetary incentive. Rather than, he concluded 3 things: social norms, group standards, and attitudes more strongly influence individual output and work behavior than do monetary incentives. So he concluded on an approach that after the social norms, for example, you being all the class fellows, if there are 32 people sitting in a class, you will be more comfortable if you are being accepted by your own class fellows, if you're accepted by your society. आप लोगों के साथ मिल रहे हो, आप लोगों के साथ बात कर रहे हो, आप लोगों के साथ काम कर सकते हो. अगर मुझे बहुत अच्छे पैसे भी मिल रहे हैं, बट मेरी टीम में सब एक दूसरे से, maybe they are fighting for that money, maybe everybody know कि मैं अगर अच्छा काम करूंगा तो I will be getting the raise in salary. So definitely there was a competition. There won't be any harmony. Nobody would be working according to the group standards. So he concluded that लोग ज़्यादा satisfy तब होते हैं जब अपने social norms से, group standards से, और अपने लोगों के साथ they feel comfortable. So Western Electric maybe what they did, they try to create people whom they think okay they can work along. That's best for them. He suggested that there's nothing to do with the monetary incentives. कुछ लोग monetary incentives से भी their performance was increased. हो सकता है हुई हो increase, लेकिन at the end of the day he concluded कि जिंदगी में या organizations में या आपको लोगों में सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरत होती है जब आपको लोग अपनाएं. अगर आपको लोग socially accept नहीं करेंगे you won't be able to work along with that organization. Any question, any problem in this theory? Anybody? Can you speak loudly?
मतलब ये redesign jobs के बारे में बोलते हैं।
Okay,
Yes, I
redesigning
didn't
of
get this
jobs are.
theory.
Sorry?
I didn't get this theory. Can you repeat this again?
I repeat the gist of it. This is basically, there were different studies done by this Western Electric company. They had done experiment through different things. First, they tried to do to the intensity of light. उन्होंने light को कम करके बढ़ा के this saw that either performance was increased or decreased. सबसे पहले उन्होंने ये किया. जब ये किया, उन्होंने दो ग्रुप्स बना दिए, कंट्रोल ग्रुप बना दिया, एक्सपेरिमेंट ग्रुप बना दिया. कंट्रोल ग्रुप को दे लेट इट बी, जिस तरह काम कर रहे थे. एक्सपेरिमेंट ग्रुप पे वो इंटेंसिटी ऑफ लाइट के उन्होंने एक्सपेरिमेंट्स किए. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे दे फाइंड इट कि कुछ भी नहीं हुआ, कोई परफॉर्मेंस ना इंक्रीज हुई ना डिक्रीज हुई. Then again they asked another researcher that he was a professor at Harvard. His name was Mayo. He was called and he was asked कि आप ऐसा करें कि आप experiments करें हमारी organizations पे. He did a couple of numerous experiments. उसने job को redesign किया. जो लोग काम जो कर रहे थे, for example, if I'm working at if I'm working at supply chain department, I was asked to work for the finance department. Redesign किया job. अगर मेरी जॉब पहले सिर्फ और सिर्फ टेक्नीशियन काम थी, उसने मुझे कहा आप सुपरवाइजरी जॉब करके देखो. उसने वर्क डे में चेंज किया, उसने वर्क वीक में चेंज किया. अगर पहले आपसे मंडे टू फ्राइडे काम करते, उसने कहा मंडे टू संडे काम करके देखते हैं आप क्या चेंज आएगी. इसने रेस्ट पीरियड्स को चेंज किया. ही चेंज कि अगर पहले ब्रेक्स जो होती थी, ब्रेक अगर हम 11 बजे देते हैं, हम ब्रेक 12 बजे देंगे. तो ही चेंजेस एंड मेड ऑल दीज चेंजेस. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे ही कंक्लूडेड ऑन दिस कंक्लूजन कि लोगों को अगर आप ये सारा चीज से कर भी दो, जो भी एक्सपेरिमेंट उसने किए, लोग तब परफॉर्मेंस अच्छी शो ज्यादा करते हैं जब वो सोशली एक्सेप्टेड होते हैं अपने ग्रुप्स के. लोग उनको अपने सोसाइटी में, अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, उसके जो बाकी टीम मेंबर्स हैं, दे आर एक्सेप्टिंग दैट पर्सन, दे आर वर्किंग अलोंग विद ईच अदर, दे हैव अ गुड एटीट्यूड टुवर्ड्स ईच अदर. इवन व्हाटएवर यू डू, इवन यू आस्क समवन कि मैं आपकी मॉनेटरी बेनिफिट बढ़ा दूंगा, that could increase some of the performance, but not overall. Overall would be increased through your group norms, standards, and attitudes. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I have a question for you all. Now, right now we have studied two basic theories of OB. One was done by 4 of researchers of OB. And this was another perspective which we have just studied, Heteron studies. ठीक है? तो do you think these both are still approachable or doable in today's world or today's organizations?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how? I would like to answer from anybody else. So many people, like now I have 27 people on board. So I would like to ask Zahid. Zahid, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what do you think? Just we have gone through 2 of the studies of OB. Do you think it's practical enough to be applied in today's world?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how?
मैं जैसे आजकल के इंजीनियर्स होते हैं, मुझे उनको ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल बिहेवियर रखना पड़ता है, वरना मैं उसको किसी भी टाइम पे काम पे आ सकते हैं. जैसे मैं हम लोग अगर घर पे कोई काम करने में बुलाना है तो हम लोग फ़ोन करेंगे, वो लोग पे टाइम पे आएंगे ही नहीं, तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल बिहेवियर रखना पड़ेगा.
डेफिनेटली हमें ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल बिहेवियर भी रखना पड़ेगा, अपने एम्प्लॉइज को भी ध्यान में रखना पड़ेगा, उनकी नीड्स को भी. फॉर एग्जांपल, द बेस्ट एग्जांपल वुड बी today's scenario. We are all facing this COVID situation. Everybody is like it's like a lockdown situation. Everybody is sitting at home, but still, because of like organizations are thinking for their employees, they don't want their employees to get this virus, so they've asked work from home. कि घर बैठ के काम करो. They are catering their employees. Otherwise, बहुत से organizations ऐसी भी हैं जो अभी भी अपने जो employees का ख्याल नहीं रख रही, and they're calling them to offices. वो कह रही नहीं, अपने job पे आना है. Whatever the scenario, whatever the conditions are, because they are not catering their employees. Secondly, अगर मैं कहूँ जिस तरह अभी you people have witnessed, बहुत सी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का टाइम 9 to 5 होते हैं, कुछ का टाइम होता है 8:30, जिस तरह हमारा 8:30 to 4:30 है, कुछ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का टाइम होता है 10 to 6. So everybody is following a different work period, whatever is suitable for them. अगर मैं कहूँ जो लोग जिस तरह अगर those who are operational like 24 hours जिनके multinational offices होते हैं, those who are working जिस तरह freelancers हैं, they're working from home. उनके में भी कुछ offices 10 PM से start होते हैं सुबह 7 PM तक. So their offices, they are doing like that. Their offices, those who are working from Monday to Saturday, their offices that they are just working from Monday to Friday, like us. So again, these all perspective you need to keep in mind कि आप अपने employee को किस तरह relaxability दो. जिस तरह अगर another example organizational behavior की, अब being from the university perspective में अगर बताऊं, हम लोगों employees को they need to fulfill 40 hours per week. 40 hours other organization 9 to 5 जहाँ पे भी आप काम करोगे, it means 40 hours आपने complete करने दिन के, sorry हफ्ते के. हफ्ते में आपने 40 hours complete करने, that means कुछ organization flexibility देती हैं कि अगर आप late hours कर लो, आप अपने number of days shrink कर सकते हो. अगर मैं 4 दिन में अगर 40 hours complete कर लेती हूँ तो I can take a day off. So organizations are very much flexible in that as well. So it's all about how you are managing your people, how you're dealing with that, and how you are giving them liberty and leverage to. वही वाली बात है, जब तक आप अपने employees पे trust नहीं करोगे, एक उनको एक space नहीं दोगे, they won't be working along with you, with the organization. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's move forward. So this is like, again, our last approach is contemporary approach. This is the last approach of this as well. Theories. So what this theory, जिस तरह हमने पहले मैंने कहा था, systems approach. Now, according to this contemporary approach, there should be a systematic approach. Everything should be interrelated, interdependent. वही वाली बात है, जब हम जो चीजें यूनिफाइड वे में कहीं भी काम होता है तो हमें लगता है कि यार बहुत ऑर्गेनाइज्ड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, बहुत अच्छी है, इनको पता है कि प्रॉपरली दे हैव टू डू what everyone task is. For example, what is my role, what is another person's role, so they are very much clear about that. So everything is done in a very systematic way. This systematic way में there are two organizations, there are two types of system that's being run in the organizations as well. One is closed systems and one is open systems. Both the organizations closed systems पे काम करती हैं. They don't want to interact with the environment. All their inputs and output is internal. Can you give me any example जो organization closed system पे काम करती हो? Anybody? For example, if we talk about, yes,
बैंक ले सकते हैं हम, banks.
But they need to interact with their people ना.
Yeah.
So it's like customer in and out भी होता है, customer flow भी होता है, walk-ins भी आते हैं. Okay, let me give you an example.
मिस इसमें शॉप्स भी आ सकते हैं, जैसे मैं शॉप्स पे भी हम लोग जाते हैं तो इंटरेक्शन होता है हमारे बीच में.
हाँ होता है, बिल्कुल होता है.
करीम,
वो भी एक ओपन सिस्टम के तहत चल रही होती हैं. तो क्लोज्ड सिस्टम में कौन सी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, या कौन सी चीजें चल रही होंगी? Sorry?
दराज.
हाँ, Daraz, very good, Daraz. Okay, because everything, whatever it's like, it's over there. They have nothing to do with the environment. I was just coming up on this point. जो भी जितने भी IT firms हैं, IT की companies हैं, they're all closed systems. But because whatever they are doing,
जैसे कि कॉल सेंटर्स है तो कॉल सेंटर्स क्लोज में आएंगे या ओपन में आएंगे?
call centers can be like sometimes, okay, that's the blend of both. Sometimes they are closed, they are open as well, because they have the call center की बात किया, they have to communicate with the audience. लोग call करेंगे, that's why that's call center. So they have the interaction with the outer world. वो environment को कर नहीं है. But when we talk about
दराज पे भी लोगों से कम्युनिकेशन हो रही है, तो वो भी तो.
But देखो बहुत सी दफा ये होता है कि it's nothing like, maybe computerized things are there but not the physical people. Maybe the people are not there but interaction is over there. Okay, let me give you another example. अब जिस तरह हमारे जितनी भी आजकल, if you know any of the freelancing websites, कोई है idea freelancing का?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
जैसे there are different platforms available. अब उसमें क्या होता है?
घर पे बैठे बैठे काम करना पड़ता
घर में बैठ के काम करते हो. For example, there are different platforms like Upwork. There are different platforms like
Yeah.
Freelancer. There are different platforms like Guru. There are different platforms like Fiverr. So actually, this is like they have maintained or they have made a system over there. People who ever want to have your services will come to you. They will ask you, and you will do for them. So the interaction, the environment is closed. That's not any physical environment. You are not going to interact physically, but virtually through different, maybe through that platform. Even those people could not approach you through any other medium. अगर आप उस platform से हट जाते हो, वो आपको लोग दोबारा, they can't approach you. So that's a close environment they have created. Okay, now what are open environments? Open environments वो होते हैं जहाँ पे हम अपनी input लेते हैं. For example, organization ने input ली, उसको transform किया input में और distribute कर दिया. Let me give you the example. This is the actual one. Open system में ये हमने specifically environment की बात की. Inputs में raw material, HR, capital, technology, IT, जो भी चीजें हमारी inputs हैं. कोई भी organization. Let's take the example of banking industry. Banks में हम लोग obviously we need a bank account. हमें खुलवाने जाते हैं. हम अपने अगर lockers हमारे पर लेना चाहते हैं तो बैंक का वो कस्टमर आता है, अपने पैसा रखवाता है उनके पास, वो उसको प्रोसेस में डालते हैं, वो मे बी दे इन्वेस्ट समवेयर एल्स. when we want to withdraw, हम उसको withdraw करवा लेते हैं जाके. but it's a systematic process that's being inducted over there. इसी तरह अगर मैं बात करूं फैक्ट्रीज की बात करूं, या अगर मैं कहूं फॉर एग्जांपल if we talk about Nestle juice, just example, वो रॉ मटेरियल्स लेते हैं. रॉ मटेरियल्स चाहे उसके अपने K&N है, K&N में जो चिकन है, जो भी उसके प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, it's being taken from one of the organization. फिर वो रॉ मटेरियल को कन्वर्ट करते हैं, उस चीज़ों पे काम करते हैं, चीज़ों को प्रोसेस करते हैं, और जो भी फाइनल प्रोडक्ट होता है वो मार्केट में भेज देते हैं. जितने भी प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए ये तो ठीक है, ओपन सिस्टम हो गया. नाउ व्हाट अबाउट द सर्विसेज? सर्विसेज में हम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कैसे ओपन सिस्टम चलाएंगी?
जैसे सर्विस सेंटर्स हो गए,
जैसे सर्विस सेंटर हो गए. जैसे इफ यू टॉक अबाउट फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर हम मैं बात करूं कि सर्विस सेंटर में लेट्स टॉक अबाउट एग्जांपल, अगर दोबारा हम लोग वापस आते हैं इसी बात पे कि हम जब वी कॉल एनी ऑफ द जितने हमारे मोबाइल सर्विस ऑपरेटर्स में, अगर हम किसी कॉल सेंटर में कॉल करते हैं और वी आर फेसिंग एनी प्रॉब्लम because we are using their product, their product is being used by us, तो हम उनको कॉल करते हैं, whatever their problem is, वो हमें बताते हैं, हमें कहता है अच्छा ठीक है. अगर वो सिस्टम जनरेटेड प्रॉब्लम है तो he'll say okay, I'll see in the system, then I will send you some of the details, then you go through the details and then you do it. So again, whole systematic process or whole change of command is being processed over there as well. So it's nothing to do with the product. वो सिर्फ physical product में नहीं कि हमने एक चीज से इनपुट हमने ली. फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने अगर रॉ मटेरियल्स लिए या मैंने कोई आईटी की टेक्नोलॉजी अगर मैंने लेटेस्ट अपनी चीजों में डाली, मैंने उसको प्रोसेस किया, आई फर्निश्ड इट, इट बिकम्स मोर क्लियर एंड देन इट बिकम्स मोर फाइनल प्रोडक्ट. अच्छा, लेट मी गिव अनदर वेरी इजी एग्जांपल. You guys, when you started this journey of your BBA, you were like a raw material. You were not known to the BBA curriculum. Nothing was there. You don't know what will be the courses, what will be the plan of study, how you're going to go along with that. But now, being in the second semester, you have the idea, you're in the transformational process. You know things are going on, things are happening. You're going through the different courses, different modules, different plan of study. And inshallah, by the end of this 4 year, you will be the final product of DSU. Clear?
Yes.
Ma'am, in this part, you said that we have like two systems. It is applicable in all type of the business, like manufacturing, supplier, services,
All.
or it can change according to the scenario.
Exactly. It can be like, देखो, जिस तरह मैंने एग्जांपल दी, it just not like a manufacturing या merchandising या service industry में. It depends at what type of system you are applying in your organization. Some organizations try to have the blend of both. दोनों भी हो सकते हैं. कुछ organizations, we being the education institute, we are an open system. because हमारे पास जब तक admissions नहीं आएगा, जब तक student नहीं आएगा, our systems could not be run. This is an open system. अब organizations में those who are a manufacturing firm में कुछ चीज produce करी, कोई product बना रही है, तो जब तक वो raw material उठाएगी नहीं, तो वो कैसे produce करेगी? वो system में कैसे डालेगी उसको? They are all open system.
So it basically depends on the nature of the business.
It's depend on the nature of the business. बिल्कुल. Any other question?
मिस जैसे हमने यूनिवर्सिटीज ओपन की हुई हैं तो वो ओपन सिस्टम चला रही हैं या क्लोज सिस्टम चला रही हैं?
वो ओपन सिस्टम चला रही हैं because you all are at the raw material of the university. जब तक स्टूडेंट नहीं होगा यूनिवर्सिटी में आके, how we can start the system? Because there are buildings, there are faculty, there is everyone. But still, when the product actually raw material are you guys, when you comes in, when you come along, that's how the system is being run. Any other question?